Video, I will be giving you some tips on how to get promoted in private security. I will give you some tips on how to advance your private security career. This message actually comes from a subscriber who kind of feels like he hit the ceiling already in private security. Feels like there's no more upward mobility. And as qualified as he is, and he's very qualified, person to take on management and leadership role within different organizations, um, this person keeps hitting a roadblock. So I want to talk about how to get promoted, what not to depend on. This video is going to be especially helpful for those of you who want to have different security assignments, and I'm going to break it down. This is the way that it works. This is the way that I've seen it work. Guys, if you're on LinkedIn, okay, and you're sending in resumes to all these different employers and you're not getting the bites that you want from your fishing line, so to speak, you have to realize that LinkedIn works on an algorithm system. Just like a lot of these other job boards work on an algorithm system. I have applied, it was about 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago, I applied to different types of security assignments. I just wanted to get out of law enforcement. And I'm not trying to brag about my credentials. If you've been on LinkedIn, then you know what I'm qualified to do and what not. But I can't even get a job at different types of, within the different security sectors. The more desirable ones. Me, I would like to work plainclothes security, just like one of our subscribers, and I like to be a trainer, but I can't get past the algorithm. I don't think that I'm not qualified. It just the algorithm really works against you. I don't know the way it works, but what I will be doing soon is I'm going to be applying for the jobs that I always wanted in private security, and that's to be a trainer, even a manager or director of a security organization, and let's see how far I get. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to get far, but I'm going to give it a try. But guys, if you're just depending on LinkedIn and you're not getting any bites, you're not getting no interviews, people are not asking you questions about more about your resume, I don't want to say give up. I'm just saying that you're fighting against technology. You're fighting against a machine. There's certain keyword that you have to use. You have to remember that these recruiters literally go through probably hundreds of applications a day, and it's a very time-consuming process for them. Therefore, they use the algorithm. Something I also recommend is you have to be at the right place at the right time. I hate to say the good old boy club, but the way that I was hired long ago at a hospital, working hospital security, is I had a friend who I hooked up with some stuff. And then later on, I wanted to get into hospital security moonlight as part of, on a part-time basis. And the way I got the interview is I met the director and we had drinks at a local restaurant or a bar. I can't remember. And at the end of the day, after 2 hours, we're just all sharing stories and having good conversations. At the end of the day, my friend says, "Hey, like, are you going to interview him or what?" And then the director at that time says, "For what?" I did the interview over the last 2 hours, and basically I got the job, and it was one of the higher paying hospital security assignments. Okay, you'll learn a lot through Marine recruiters. This particular recruiter, I'm going to have to bring him on one of these days. He's actually a Route 91 survivor. And what ended up happening was he told me how he got Marines enlisted in the Marine Corps. Is he would invite these prospect Marines to the bar and hook them up with dates and I guess get them laid, right? So I think it was kind of like the camaraderie, if you want to call that, I want to say the non-intense environment. I don't know what else you call that, but I guess Marines call it networking, or maybe they call it something else. But that's how he was able to keep his numbers up. And after he was deployed, he did his combat tour from tanks. That's what he retired in, or that's what he left the Marine Corps doing, was just being a recruiter. And I think he did it like 8 years, 4 years, 5 years, or 8 years. His numbers constantly were up, and that's how we did recruiting. Is he would meet these prospect recruits in the bar, and he would hook them up on dates and hook them up with other stuff. If you got to be at the right place at the right time. I want to give you a story about former LAPD Daryl Gates. I'm not going to go into a long story. This is not really about law enforcement, but it's about the whole principle of the situation. It's all about networking, and I'll show you just how he was able to get promoted. So Daryl Gates, I think he got into LAPD in 1949. He was enlisted in World War II. Okay, that would make sense because World War II was 42, 43. He did his tour, World War II, Navy veteran, and then 49 he got hired by the Los Angeles Police Department. One of his well-known assignments, and by the way, Chief Gates is, in my opinion, one of the most charismatic leaders of all times. I got to show you guys some of his video. He actually pushed the first SWAT team in America. Very controversial figure, but very charismatic, and he's a transformational leader. One of his first assignments, well-known assignments, was he was a chauffeur for Chief Parker of the LAPD. Chief Parker. He basically drove him around town. Again, a personal chauffeur. And guys, if you chauffeur the LAPD chief around, you're going to be in a good network. It's kind of like being the personal assistant to the commandant for the Marine Corps, right? Being the personal assistant, or being like having some type of MOS or work assignment that revolves around that. You're going to be going a good place and good things. Me and Randy from Global Veterans had a conversation about Mike Glover from Fieldcraft Survival. I guess the infamous Mike Glover. Wish him well. Don't know all the facts, but he's not in a really good circumstance right now. But anyhow, he was assigned to the Tombs of the Unknown. And guys, that being assigned to the Tomb of the Unknown hooked him up in that critical network that would prove him successful later on in life. And he ended up retiring as a sergeant major, which is like one of the highest. I don't know if it's the highest, but it's one of the higher ranking enlisted members of the Army. He had a good network, and he continues to have a good network in special operations. Well, going back to Chief Gates, Chief Gates, who was a chauffeur, again, he drove Chief Parker around LA all the time, and he ended up becoming part of his network. Okay, when the sergeant exam was available, he scored number 1. Okay, in 17 years of service, he was already a commander, and he ended up taking over Chief Parker's position. He started as a chauffeur. What I'm saying is, Chief Daryl Gates, the late Chief Daryl Gates, was in the right place at the right time. He was in the right network. Guys, if you want to work executive protection, where do you need to be? You need to be near EP agents. If you have trouble getting near EP agents, I want you to enroll in an EP course. And I know they're $15,000, they're $10,000, but take the lower tier courses, or the courses that don't cost that much, and on your breaks, on your lunches, stay off your damn cell phone. Stay off of the cell phone. That's what I've been doing like lately, is when I attend these courses, I'm off my cell phone and I'm walking around connecting with people who are not on their cell phone. I've went to numerous tactical training, and it's like every event I go to, I humble myself, I ask a lot of questions, um, and I get invited to train in the future with different SWAT teams. Unfortunately, all these SWAT teams are like 3-4 hours away, but it's because on my breaks I talk to people, and I'm not an introverted person. I'm sorry, I'm an introverted person, not extroverted person. It takes a lot out of me just to run conversations, but I understand the importance of networking at these training events. It's at these training events where you meet a lot of people. Primary security agency, they have a training division, right? They're constantly attending all these numerous training events, and they're constantly networking. If I mention the word Angel from primary agency training division, everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows who John is as well, but everybody knows those three guys that form primary training agency, because they network, guys. All these training events, they're training together, and I think that they meet once a month. I've been invited to their training events. Last week they did like a TAC med / 200 round shooting course, with / bleeding control. Anyhow, let's push beyond that. But anyhow, they had a course. Different vendors come in, and they're constant networking. They're talking to each other. They all know each other. Now, if any of these people need a job in private security, executive protection in this group, okay, it's going to come amongst this network of these individuals who actually, I hold up here, guys. A lot of these guys that were training, especially for primary security agency, I honestly, I was going to put them on blast on a social media review, because I'm like, who are these like wannabes? They're doing these bad tactics. And then I kept looking through other videos, and then I started thinking, wait a minute. They're still, some of them, they're still learning. This was like years ago, but they're actually showing some good techniques. So I'm going to leave them alone. And then we end up networking, and I end up doing the ballistic shield course with them, and we all had a great time. But you got to network, okay? You got to network. We just had Randy from Global Veterans gave the TECC Tactical Emergency Casualty Course, the LEO version, the 8-hour course. We gave that in Imperial County. Only Mark, one of our subscribers, showed up, and there was room for 2 more people. And guys, I mean, again, these are the places to meet people, okay? Keep responding to job ads, but the reality is every hooked up assignment or job that I was connected to involved the professional network out there. I also want to mention about the whole ACES certifications. To me, guys, it kind of drives me crazy when somebody puts certified protection officer, or PPO, or CPO, CPI after their name. Like it's something special. I don't mean to put down anybody that has those ASIS certifications. I'm just saying that sometimes when somebody puts that after their initials, they're lacking the qualifications. Not in all cases. And I know one will argue, well, I need 4 years of like management or leadership experience. I get it. I understand. But that doesn't make you qualified just because you have initial. And again, once again, I think some people are lacking real life experiences in a certain sector in private security, and by putting a CPI or some type of other pronoun that was earned or that they received from ASIS, I think that there's a deficiency that they're trying to hide. Not all circumstances. Don't get mad at me. My wife, she told me that in social work, because she's a clinical social worker. She has her master's degree, very smart lady. And she's a LCSW, licensed clinical social worker. She said that she's supposed to put that at the end of their name because that's something that they do in that profession. So I understand that. I used to put like MS after my name. in certain job categories that I was applying to. And sometimes in the educational field, you have to do that, kind of distinguish yourself. So there's a time and place for that. But now, when I apply somewhere, like right now, if I were to apply anywhere, I'm not going to put master's degree, bachelor's degree, bullshit degree, whatever it is. I'm not going to put that. If I'm lacking something and I need something, maybe I'll put TECC at the end. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to put that. But for some people that went through that course, which was actually very difficult, the course was hard. But that's all I'm going to say. I mean, the test was hard. I mean, some people, that's accomplishment. Put that if you think that's going to help you out. But for me, putting titles at the end of my name has never helped. It's the professional network that helped. Okay. A while back, I got a job at Kaplan College as one of their assistant professors, and the way I got in was, again, through the interview process, and I was able to explain my circumstances, and I was able to explain why I'm qualified. And actually, I've really never taught other than a GARCAR course, but again, I was able to have that one-on-one conversation with somebody. I had my foot in the door. Guys, if you have your foot in the door, just like in real life situations, you might go all the way in. So that's my advice to you guys is, if you want to work executive protection, promote, or move up within the industry, you have to be near those people that are the connectors, the people that connect you to hiring agents, connect you with managers. That's where you have to be. On another note, you can screw it up. I mean, if you're all jacked up and then you're trying to connect yourself within this network, that might work against you too. But I think in most circumstances, the circumstance where this subscriber reached out to me, I think it would benefit him a lot to be in these networks. Now, obviously, like Gavin D. Becker's course, he does security. He writes books. He wrote 2 Seconds and The Gift of Fear. His course is like $15,000 or $20,000. And there's no guarantee that if you take the course that you are going to be one of his agents. That's just how much it costs, right? I don't know how many weeks long it is, but to a lot of people, it's worth it because you're already connected with the kind of like hiring agents, right? Now, if you're screwed up, then you're really going to stick out. Okay. Now guys, I'm not telling you to spend that much money. There's courses, there's a training organization called Training Solutions International. They're based out of Riverside. The instructors used to work for the State Department. They were DSS, Diplomatic Security Services. There's like 3 of them that were on their instructor cadre. That course is only $1,500. And the good thing is, that security company, Solutions International, actually runs that training arm. So just imagine you show up to a course, one of their courses, you can easily be connected to somebody who knows somebody. Okay. I have heard nothing negative about that organization. I know when those Marines fell, when Biden took the military out of Afghanistan, and the others, men and women that fell, that were basically taken over by Taliban. I know that one of them was like one of the Marines was from the Riverside area, and one of their employees agreed to stay like on an 8-hour shift or 8-hour watch, protecting the Marine Corps flag, protecting the American flag on an overpass, all voluntary. And that says a lot about that organization. Now just imagine that you're in that organization, or I'm sorry, you're attending training. You're connected to great people. You're connected to awesome people. All right, guys. Doug is here. Randy's here. Slender's here. We don't leave you hanging, Slender. Yeah, algorithms screw people up. And guys, Slender got a really good job right now. He's in a good place. Almost sounds like we're speaking to him like he passed away or something. Like he's in a good place. No, he's in a really good place. I'm talking to him. He likes what he does. I don't think it's the algorithm. I don't know how he got the job, but It worked for him. Randy says, my guys and I couldn't get hired anywhere, so we started our... And thank you, Randy, for bringing that up. I mean, man, if you know the qualifications from Randy's group, you, like, like, you'll be impressed. They're impressive. Like, they've done a lot of great things, but, like, they probably can't even get past the algorithm, right? They probably can't. So, hey, in that circumstance, you start your own company. But even when you start your own company, your contracts are based on who you know and based on the professional network. Slender says, I got on here mostly because I knew one of the previous sergeants who was really respected, as well as me having training that most didn't have, especially one from Randy here on the active shooter course. Let me repeat that for those of you who are chiming in. Slender says, I got on here. Slender does a good job at the reservation. He says, because I knew one of the previous sergeants who was well respected, and because of his trainings that a lot of people didn't have, and he attended Randy's active shooter course in San Diego. I remember when he was there. There you go, guys. Randy says, Chief Gates, the SWAT daddy, there's dispute on who founded SWAT, but it was between Chief Gates and I think it was like the assistant chief. So in my book, both of them get respect, but Chief Gates gets a notoriety. I don't know how to pronounce that. For forming the first SWAT teams. Again, this guy transformed LAPD, guys. I got to show you the video. You hear it. I can't even replicate what he did, but it was during the riot situations, and the city council was putting him on blast, and the words out of his mouth, like putting city council in check, were just impressive. Almost made me cry. Transformed LAPD. Remember, Chief Gates started as a chauffeur for Chief Parker. Don't forget that, guys. Do not forget that. A lot of these security contracts that are based off of, well, a lot of security contracts that I see out there, they're based off of maintenance contracts. These companies, security companies, used to own like janitorial services. And what do you need after the janitors leave? Security. I know a lot of people. I know like dozens of security company owners who just had a janitorial service, and they transformed that service into janitorial service and security company. Look at Allied, guys. Allied Universal. I believe that they started as a janitorial service. Doug says, did you get my patch? I'll check, Doug. I haven't checked the mailbox yet, but I'll check. Yeah, Mark is here. Sam Martin 77 says, I have used primary security agency in the past. They know how to get the job done. Special shout out to primary security agency. Definitely. And I got invited again to train with their Protectors Week, like that they do every month. And I definitely want to show up over there. And hopefully you guys would want to show up too with me. Randy says, forget the degrees as long as you can put on CQC or TECCLEO. Yeah, there you go. Something that means something, right? Randy Nunez says, whoa, it was Trump's plan. I know. No, we had a conversation about the pullout from Afghanistan, and Randy's argument it was Trump's plan. Oh man. He also says, okay, oh, there's a retracted message. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Let me know what is the best way on getting promoted. What's the best way on getting your ideal job assignment? Guys, we have one of our subscribers who was one of the most loyal ones we have, very loyal, and he does read all the comments. So anything would be beneficial. Randy says, poor Sleepy Joe. Yeah, unfortunately, poor Sleepy Joe gets all the flack sometimes. All right, guys, I'm out. Vote for Trump 2024. I just have to say that. I'm out.